Hello, my name is Luis Ibarra, and today we'll be talking about 7-Eleven. So, if you haven't already known, 7-Eleven did fail in the Indonesian market. This is due to lack of market share. They only had about 7% in between the market of convenience store and quick marts. They lost to the big competitors that were already very popular at that time. It was Indomaret and Alfamart, very big names in Indonesia. And then also the locals thought of it more as a hangout and a sit down joint to eat food than it being a quick mart. Customers would purchase small money's worth and stay to hang out for hours. It could be a drink and stay for 5 hours with friends. And then it was proven by the lack of sales. Again, customers would come, grab a drink or two, and stay there for hours. It's not a good return on investment. So, what I believe is a good place for 7-Eleven to enter is New Zealand. Some quick facts. They love rugby. They're known for it. Very good, very competitive. And you should never talk bad about sheep. Now, why New Zealand? New Zealand is ranked second in the Asia Pacific region. They're open to foreign direct investment by $5.4 billion. And there's no big competitors in New Zealand in this type of quick mart convenience store market. Most quick marts are locally owned by the people, and this opens up the possibility of first mover advantage so that if 7-Eleven goes in there, they'll be the only one that has the chain. So one way that they should do this is by franchising. All 7-Eleven convenience stores are franchises. It's how it is. There's three types of franchises that they fall under, but it's just franchise in general. The advantage is an easy way into the market, establishing their brand name. Along with that is small risk. But some disadvantages would be the risk of creating the competitive market. You technically take your resources and train the local people on how to run this stuff, and they could eventually become your competitor. They could leave and then start their own thing. Another thing is low revenue due to only being able to collect royalties. By franchising, you only get a small amount of money for what you do, and it's not going to be a big money maker unless you have a lot of 7-Elevens. So infrastructure in New Zealand is getting better every day. 40% of the country's energy is green. This is being done by hydropower, and it's really good for planet Earth. Another thing, 70% of roads are being paved. They're currently trying to get everything done. There has been small blocks around on the road currently on the infrastructure. Permits are hard to get and stuff like that. Another thing, 94% of New Zealanders have internet access. This was because in 2019 they announced that by 2025 everyone would have internet access, and it looks like they're going to keep their promise. And then currently the government are focusing on water access and sewage pipelines. It is known for water shortages to arise and also sewage pipelines to burst, and that's one of their main goals right now in the infrastructure. They want to get all of that finished before they start building new things on top. So some potential downsides, the roadways are still an ongoing issue. Local government are very strict on the permits. It's just how it is. And then having to get in the market and beating the norm of quick marts being locally owned is another thing they have to overcome. And then by going with the first mover advantage, staying on top is key, as competitors will be looking to enter the market as well. First mover advantage is very key. It allows you to assert your dominance in the market, but as well, you leave a little gap for anybody else to come in. So key takeaways: no real quick mart chain in New Zealand. They're mostly locally owned, so it's a good time to try to get in there if you want to make a name for yourself. As infrastructure gets better in New Zealand, more store placement opportunities will arise. That's either train stations, small stuff like that, newer roads, and then most traveling is done by automobile, so it gives a huge chance for success on making rest stops, little marts in the middle of nowhere. And then New Zealand is a well-developed country, and it is open to foreign direct investment, so that's one thing to keep in mind. And then the big key is that 7-Eleven should do this because of the first mover advantage. As I said previously before, many of times, most of the quick marts in New Zealand are locally owned. There are no chains out there. The only chains that you can find are the gas stations, being BP, British Petroleum, or Mobil 1. But those aren't quick marts like 7-Eleven that have the food and the Slurpees and the slushies and small stuff like that. That stuff is what makes 7-Eleven their own. And that's why they should get in the market. And then these are my sources. Thank you for listening today. Have a nice day.